Hello everyone, good day. Welcome to vSparks. Today I'm going to walk you through the available network connectivity options to Google Cloud from your on-premises network, and we are also going to see a decision-making tree on how to choose these options based on your needs. If you like this video, please subscribe to vSparks channel and click the bell icon for the latest updates. This is the agenda of this video. We are going to discuss on these topics in this video. First, we will see the available options to connect to Google Cloud, and then we will discuss it one by one. We can split this up into two categories. In the first category, you are going to access Google Cloud alone. Whereas in the second category, you are going to access Google Cloud as well as the other products of Google such as Google Workspace, formerly called as G Suite, and its associated applications. In the first category, that is connecting to Google Cloud alone, the available options are Open Internet, Cloud VPN, and Cloud Interconnect. In the second category, the available options are Open Internet and Google Pairing Connections. So these are all the ways you can connect to Google Cloud. Now we will discuss these options one by one. Connecting through Internet. The simplest connectivity option to connect your environment to Google Cloud as well as to Google Workspace is to use a standard internet connections, which you may be having already. The main drawback of this connectivity is all the traffic between your environment and Google is fully public, which is not secure at all. Also, the bandwidth with which you are accessing is fully dependent on your internet service provider. Connecting through Cloud VPN. If you are okay with your current internet service provider's bandwidth, but you need a more secure connectivity to Google Cloud, then the option you should choose is Cloud VPN. Cloud VPN establishes a secure encrypted network tunnel between your on-premises and Google Cloud. This guarantees all the traffic between your on-premises and Google Cloud to be private and secure rather than public. Connecting through Cloud Interconnect. If your internet service provider's bandwidth is not enough and you need a secure connection to Google Cloud, then the option you should choose is Cloud Interconnect. Google Cloud Interconnect provides a direct physical connection to Google Cloud from your on-premises. Basically, there are two different types of Cloud Interconnect you can afford for: Dedicated Interconnect and Partner Interconnect. In Dedicated Interconnect, you need to install direct physical cables, equipments, and connections to Google Cloud Data Center. Whereas on the other hand, if you cannot afford the cables, equipments, and installations, you can go for Partner Interconnect. In Partner Interconnect, the cables and connection setup will be taken care by the partner or the service provider. In Dedicated Interconnect, the bandwidth is fully dependent on the Google, whereas in Partner Interconnect, it is dependent on the service provider. Dedicated Interconnect. As highlighted earlier, Dedicated Interconnect provides a direct physical connection between your on-premises network and Google's network. This connection happens in a common co-location facility. This co-location facility is nothing but the Google's data center, where it allows its customers to connect to their networks directly. This location is also called as Points of Presence or POP location. Using this location, we can establish a private direct connection to Google Cloud so that all the traffic or communication will be using the private IP addresses. Now, Partner Interconnect, which is an alternate option to Dedicated Interconnect. Let's say if your on-premises data center is far away from Google's co-location facility, or if you cannot afford installing cables and equipments, then the right option to choose is Partner Interconnect. Partner Interconnect provides a direct physical connection between your on-premises network and Google's network through a supported service provider. Service providers will have existing physical connections to Google's network that they can make it available for their customers to use. Only thing what you need to do is choose a service provider for Partner Interconnect connection and request for a new connection. Once the service provider provisions your connection, you can start passing your traffic between your on-premises and Google Cloud. This will also ensure the connection to be private and the communication will be using the private IP addresses just like your dedicated interconnect. Connecting through Google peering. If you are going to access Google Cloud as well as the other products of Google such as Google Workspace and its associated applications with a public IP address, then the option you should choose is Google peering. Similar to Interconnect, Google peering has two divisions called as direct peering and carrier peering. In direct peering, the routing equipments, cables, and connections will be installed by the customers by themselves. Whereas in carrier peering, it will be done with the help of a service provider. Remember, in Google peering, the communication happens with the help of public IP addresses, which is less secure though. Direct peering. Direct peering allows you to establish a direct physical connection between your on-prem network and the Google's Edge network. Google's Edge location or co-location or POP location or peering site, everything refers the same. It's nothing but the Google's data center where it allows its customers to connect to the networks directly. When direct peering is established, it provides a direct path from your on-premises network to Google services including Google Cloud. Hope you remember the communication happens using the public IP addresses in Google peering. All the traffic destined to Google rides over this link while the traffic to other sites on the internet rides your regular internet connection. Unless you need to access Google Workspace and its applications, the recommended methods to access Google Cloud are dedicated interconnect and partner interconnect, which we have seen previously. Now, carrier peering, which is an alternate option to direct peering. Let's say if your on-premises data center is far away from Google peering site, or if you cannot afford installing cables and equipments, then the right option to choose is carrier peering. Carrier peering allows you to establish a physical peering connection between your on-prem network and Google's Edge network using a service provider. Service providers will have existing physical connections to Google's network that they can make it available for their customers to use. Only thing what you need to do is choose a service provider for carrier peering and request for a new connection. Once the service provider provisions your connection, you can start passing your traffic between your on-premises and Google. Now, let's see on how to design the connectivity options based on your needs using a flowchart kind of diagram. First and foremost thing is the connectivity mode, either public or private. Let's say we want to use private IP addresses only to connect to Google Cloud for better security and assume that our internet service provider's bandwidth is sufficient for our workload, then we should choose Cloud VPN. Under this private connection flow, if your internet service provider's bandwidth is not sufficient, then we should choose Cloud Interconnect. While choosing Interconnect, if we can manage our equipments, cables, and installations, we can very well go ahead for dedicated Interconnect. If that is not possible, we should get help from a service provider to do these installations under the option called as Partner Interconnect. Now, let us see the public connection flow. Under this case, all the traffic flows using the public IP addresses. Let's say we want to connect to Google Cloud openly. and assume that our internet service provider's bandwidth is sufficient for our workloads. Then we can go ahead with public internet. But this public internet is not secure at all. If the bandwidth is not sufficient from the internet service provider, then we should choose Google peering. While choosing Google peering, if we can manage our own equipments, cables and installations in the Google peering location, we should go ahead for direct peering connection. If that is not possible, we should get help from a service provider to do these installations under the option called as carrier peering. I hope you guys are clear in choosing these connectivity options to Google Cloud based on your official needs. Well, that's it for this lecture. This is the summary that we have discussed so far in this video. Thank you from VSparks and thank you for watching this video.